Guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin, and I'm not going to be talking specifically about Bitcoin or buying the crypto. I'm mainly going to be talking about stocks to buy based on Bitcoin. I do believe we're going to see volatility in the coming days, and this is probably going to be over the next 1 to 2 weeks. I think there's going to be a lot of great plays in the options facility and the options market here. If you're looking on the long-term side of things with Bitcoin, this really isn't the video for you, although I do think there is some key points to take away from this to look at a long-term perspective, but I'm not really focusing on the long-term here. Before we get into that content, I need you to do one thing and one thing only. Hit the subscribe button down below, leave a thumbs up, and make sure you have the notifications turned on because I post videos every single day, typically at 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. Central. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get to it. Okay, so I want to play a quick little video. It's about a minute long, so bear with me. But this video kind of has me set up on Bitcoin and why I'm really interested in it. Now you're going to have to connect the dots a little bit, but let's watch.
Robinhood has now confirmed to CNBC that it restricted trading in cryptocurrencies as the price of Bitcoin rose sharply. Earlier today, users began reporting that Robinhood had halted instant deposits for crypto purchases, meaning they can only buy digital currencies with funds already deposited in their accounts. Now, new deposits can take up to 5 days to clear. Robinhood told CNBC it made that move due to extraordinary market conditions. Separately, Coinbase says it is looking into site outage issues itself, and we're going to monitor this situation. Bitcoin, as we've been talking about all morning, has risen dramatically after Elon Musk placed a hashtag Bitcoin in his bio on Twitter, leading to a mini frenzy that took place overnight. But as we're watching these frenzies take place within social media and then on these apps and on online brokerage accounts, it seems to be raising all sorts of questions about whether the system unto itself can handle it. Yeah, Joe?
Yeah. Anyone tweeting Elon greater than Ray? Did you see any of that? You know, Dalio said some stuff yesterday, and Bitcoin was like, nothing.
Ray was a little bit more reticent.
I know. But Elon says it, and it's like.
So as you've seen over the past few days, Robinhood has been restricting all sorts of trading along with other brokers, but Robinhood's really getting the spotlight because they ultimately made that first decision. Now this decision is leading over into crypto as well, and I don't see this performing very well or going well at all. Now, if you know, Coinbase, Binance, and some other exchanges also had some issues, but they just canceled withdrawals. You could still buy and sell the crypto. I think there was a limit on Coinbase for a few hours, but not very long at all. I do see if the problem does not get resolved with these exchanges or there's not punishment, I think crypto will see a very high influx of volatility. And this is kind of what celebrities are talking about, like Elon Musk and some others. Okay, so in this month, we actually see that we saw Bitcoin jump down to $42,000. And over the past week, we saw another push up to that 38,000 marker right after Elon Musk kind of put Bitcoin in his mention. Another thing to take into account is that this did come shortly after Robinhood shut down the trading or buying of GameStop, AMC, and these other penny stocks. So crypto on the after hours with Dogecoin and all this other stuff started to skyrocket and go up very, very high. So there is actually plays on the stock market, if you're not familiar, that we can play with this. I have traded them previously on the option side of things. These are not long-term investments for myself. One investment I will mention near the end of the video, but right now this is what I'm focusing on. Is going to be Mara and Riot. Now the ticker for Mara is MARA, Riot is Riot, RIOT. So one thing I do want to point out here on Riot. So this is actually the short interest, and you can get some information on this stock like this on FinViz. Really, really simple to use. You can actually see the short ratio and the short float right here. So there's a lot of bets that this actually is going short. So there's 21%. That's not super high like something like Bitcoin, but 21% is still pretty decent. And also you can see the volume traded down here at 42 million. That is pretty high as well. So the market cap for this stock has skyrocketed recently to 1.8 billion. That's a little bit overvalued in my opinion, but we can get more into that later. I don't want to dive too deep into that right now. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at Bitcoin at the chart. The Bitcoin chart looks pretty bullish. We're seeing multiple touch of the support, and then we're bouncing almost a touch here, touch here. So 4 times now that we're touching and consolidating in this area, this 28.7 range. It's looking pretty bullish at that. And then if we zoom in a little bit more, you can actually see we're kind of floating on the upside, making new supports as well. So we can actually get rid of these last ones. take a quick look here. As you see, we kind of flipped the weekly level here and are now holding that range. Over the weekend, I'm going to be spending a lot of the time really taking a look at this chart and seeing how we're actually moving on the after hours, because come Monday, I think we might see an influx of volume into these stocks like Riot and Mara. And it's also worth noting, you could take a look at some clean energy stocks that also put their money into these stocks as well, like CleanSpark. CleanSpark does put quite a bit of money into mining crypto. That is kind of one of their ways they make revenue with their company. So those could be something to take a look at as well. When it came down to these two charts, it was between Mara and it was between Riot. I like Mara's chart better personally. Looking here, you can actually see the OBV is obviously breaking that clear trend. It came down retested, now getting volume pushing back up. Although on the chart for the actual stock price, we're not seeing that big of a price increase. Yes, we did see a move on that after hours move up to about the $24 range. That was a pretty hefty move, but we're seeing a pretty nice retrace right now. I do think this retrace is a pretty good time for entries. I didn't enter before the weekend ended just because we don't know how the markets are going to open come Monday. And things have been pretty interesting and pretty wild throughout this week, so we don't want to take too much unnecessary risk. This is just one of those stocks that's going to be on my watch list heavily for options trading coming into this coming week. Now, this isn't a long-term pick. I want to reiterate that I am not long-term in Mara. The time to enter these stocks for a long-term was when Bitcoin was a lot cheaper. So right now, this isn't the time to jump into these for the long term. And if I had to set a target on Mara for the coming week or two, honestly, if we start getting some volume into Bitcoin, there's no doubt in my mind that we break that local high of that $28 to $29 range. It's very, very possible. I think we're already seeing that influx of volume. That volume is ultimately what we want to see, because we also know volume brings the volatility, which is going to really increase that price. And the fact that we're seeing the volume kicking in and not seeing that big of an influx in price has me very, very excited for this stock, and the reason why I'm interested in trading options on this for the next 2 to 3 weeks. But this is what has me extremely bullish on the long-term side of things. So as we all know, Coinbase is going public, but they kind of didn't announce how they're going to be doing it. They said they might be IPOing, but then they came out yesterday and said they're doing a direct listing. So as you can see here, the company intends to direct list its Class A common stock, the release stated. The listing is expected to go through after SEC completes its review process. The direct listing allows the company to list its shares, which then become available for trading. The process removes the need to price and sell a block of new equity, letting the company avoid elements of conventional IPO. So why this is pretty good is they're not going to be diluting shares of the stock by creating new stock and new prices for that stock. So that's going to be pretty interesting and actually really bullish. The fact that they don't need to do that IPO process is pretty great. Now, there are some negatives to that. Sometimes companies do this, they can't afford those things in order, but I don't think that's the case here with Coinbase. They have a lot of upside. Also, in my last video, I did mention the PaySafe card coming to Coinbase. So Coinbase will have their new credit card, which once that's out, I do think that'll be a new hub for people to be putting their equity and their long-term investments in, maybe even using credit cards every single day. That'd be really interesting, but it is a really risky place to start dumping your money. So we can read down here, Coinbase also introduced a new Visa debit card called the Coinbase card in October, opening a wait list. Payments reported. The card purported to let users use Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies to pay for items. Users can convert the cryptocurrencies into cash at ATMs. So that's pretty cool, and you don't have to go directly into Bitcoin if you don't want to. You can go into these other altcoins on the exchange, and they'll kind of automatically change for you and automatically price in. So that's actually a really cool system. I am wondering though if through the payment you'll be able to select which cryptocurrencies you want to spend with that credit card, because that'd be really interesting to see. And by this, for an example, let's say I only want to use Ethereum for my payments because I want to save all my XRP and I don't want to use those as my long-term investments, and only use XRP if I have to. You know what I mean? So that would probably be integrated on the app side of things. We'll have to see. Coinbase hasn't released too much information about that yet. Looking at crypto in the short term, and by short term I mean 1-2 months, I do see it moving pretty well. I don't think the run is overall over. I think everything that's been happening with Robinhood and these other exchanges is actually very bullish for crypto. And I think retail investors are going to really start reevaluating the where they are investing, because honestly the game is rigged as we see right now. Another thing to take note of, the SEC is investigating these exchanges right now, and based on the SEC's results coming up, I think that it will highly affect the way that retail investors invest. So if it comes out that no one's really getting punished, I highly suspect money starts flowing into crypto, just because crypto is not as regulated and it's not as monitored, and it doesn't seem to be as controlled, if you will, as these stocks do. That's just a complete assumption though on my end, so I could totally be wrong. The way that I'm gonna be playing this is on the safer side of things, not directly investing into cryptos. I'm gonna be investing and playing options on stocks related to cryptos. So Mara and Riot are my go-tos. I think Mara has more upside than Riot at this time, and the chart looks more bullish, but most likely they're going to react the same way and both move bullishly. I'm just picking Mara over Riot. That's going to wrap up this video, guys. If you got something out of this, make sure you hit that subscribe down below, leave a thumbs up, and turn the notifications on because I post every single day. And if you have any questions about this, comment down below, and I'll try to answer within the first 24 hours. Have a good one, boys. Namaste.